Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the King Ugly Crew. Tonight we have a plethora of people on tonight. I'm just going to go through everybody because I think that would be easier than having everybody introduce themselves. Lonnon, what do you think?
Yep, I like it.
Sure.
All right, let's do it. So we got Bear Aminal, which is Baron. We got Case of Isaiah, which is Case Isaiah. We have Fuff, and that's Griff. And Lonnon's on. We have Lonnon's daughter, Tesla Coil.
Does Lonnon not have a nickname? Are you freaking kidding?
Lonnon.
Yeah.
That is
And
so
we got-
exciting.
Yours was Baroni, the San Francisco treat.
Oh, stupid.
You know,
I
I
totally forgot about that. And I call him Baroni all the time.
But now you're Aminal, the Bear Aminal.
Sorry,
So,
you can go
got
ahead.
Tesla Coil and the Zybug. That's Zzyzx. Say hi, Tesla. Say hi, Zy.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, that was like super exciting. Awesome.
And
Do
Go
we have
ahead, my
Aurora on or no?
she's on. I don't know if she's speaking.
yes, she's on.
She's not. She
Well,
doesn't sound
see-
like she's gonna be speaking.
We'll see if
She's
she
not on
can
speaking
figure it
terms.
out.
All right. So we got everybody tonight. We got lots and lots of people. But we are going to talk about the Gambler 500 that my brothers planned meticulously because they knew I was going to be out of the country.
I'm
And,
pretty sure that we didn't plan it.
I'm fairly confident it wasn't even us at all.
I think it was done on purpose. Dang it. Just kidding. But so was it last year you guys went?
No, it was
2
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yep.
Oh,
I didn't
that's
even know
when I
they
was
did it last
broken.
year.
I don't think they did do it last year because of COVID.
They did, because that was the first Saints and Sinners. No, Saints and Sinners was this year. Sorry.
Yeah,
Uh,
they were gonna do one, and I talked to the guy. He's like, we were going to do one, and then we didn't because of COVID, or the people that showed up was like 6 or something like that. So not a big turnout.
So
Let's put it that way.
They did or they didn't do it. So they did do it, but
No.
nobody came.
It sounded like they did do it, but nobody came, and it wasn't like super like they didn't expect very many people to come anyway. But
Gotcha. So yeah, 2 years ago, after they got done with the Gambler, I was trying to figure out why I didn't go on that one. It's because that's when I was broken. But this year, like I said, they planned it because they knew I'd be out of the country and that I wouldn't be able to go with them again.
How'd you know?
But the Gambler 500 people reached out to me and they were like, Dane, of all the weeks in the year, which one will you not be able to be here? And I told them, and then they were like, okay, that's the week we're doing it. So
Brilliant.
that that was what, September 17th, weekend of September 17th.
that's correct.
All right, and Griff, what did you decide to do for the Gambler 500 this year?
Show up.
Show up. Okay, I know you did a lot of work before
Dude,
showing up. So
he
what did
did-
you do?
The most work out of all of us.
So I got a PT loser or bruiser or whatever you guys want to call it from my neighbor, which is a
Was a loser, now a bruiser.
factory
But that would be
turboed
A PT
Cruiser.
Cruiser.
Yeah, factory from Chrysler. That's how they came. Same thing as an SRT4 motor, and I got it for ultimately free, but let's call it $300. Ultimately free because I traded a car that I never paid any money on. So it's a long story. So I got a PT Cruiser. It had a transmission issue, of which we ended up finding out a ground issue after I kind of went through it. And so we ended up getting that fixed and running, and that led to me putting way too much money into this car to call it a Gambler 100 because it should be more like a Gambler 1000 at this point in time, not including the purchase price of the vehicle. But I got struts.
It was definitely
and-
stuff we needed, though.
Yes, struts.
And you had fun
spacers,
doing it.
Lifted. Yes, and I had lots of fun. I had a radiator in it, AC, which AC
That doesn't even
needed.
that
but-
doesn't even include the tires.
No, technically with tires, I'm at $1,150 if I included tires I just bought,
Oh, gotcha. Which
But-
won't fit.
which won't fit, which is why they're going on Lonnon's trade. I cannot speak. I'm that all day today. So
Bread
we
and butter.
ended up
Bread
having-
and butter. That's
yeah,
what
we
you gotta
had
do.
we had Baron and Case that were going to come with us, but Aurora, pipe in Aurora, that wanting to come with us. She wanted to go to the Gambler. Technically, the rules say that you have to be over 18, but luckily, Zzyzx and Aurora look very much older than what they actually are at 12 years old. And so Baron and Case decided that they were going to go figure out a car, and that throws it over to Baron or Case.
Go for a Case, considering you're the one that started this all off.
Well, the whole plan was for me, like Griffith was saying, the whole plan was for me to go with them in the PT Cruiser. But with 4 people in the cruiser, 4 big people in a PT Cruiser, we were worried about rubbing and all this gear we needed because we were camping out in the middle of nowhere. And then Baron was still kind of up in the air because of the school thing going on. But when he decided he was officially going, we knew at that point there was no way we were going to put 5 people in the PT Cruiser with all of our gear and not have rubbing issues. So the last time we started going for the Gambler,
Case? So even with it lifted, it was still rubbing?
Oh my gosh.
No,
Yes.
no.
We will get to that. We will
Nearly
get
as
to
bad
that.
as the Mercedes does. We'll get there.
We'll get to the Mercedes.
The Mercedes rubbed before anybody even got in it. Anyway, sorry, Case, go ahead. Mercedes.
No, it's fine. Totally fine. So basically, we started building the Mercedes because we had this 1987 Mercedes 300 SDL, which is an inline 6 turbo diesel. So we were building it because we just an extra car we had sitting in one of our yards. And we're like, you know what, we're making it a Gambler car. So 2 years ago, Baron and I were like, okay, we're doing this. But then we had some engine issues, couldn't get it running right. The timing was off, correct, Baron?
Burnt hands.
We got it running like
Burnt.
6 months later, but
Was
really,
that
it
the
just
motor,
Griffith and
the
I
burnt
played with
hands
the timing.
motor?
Yeah, that's
that-
the one that Lonnon burnt his hands really bad on.
Because I was
So-
using a torch, oxygen acetylene torch, to heat up the intake enough to try and get it started. And it ran. Well, that's actually when it almost fell over is when I tried to run.
That's why I ran over and grabbed it because it was about to fall over, or at least I thought. And then, a little toasty.
Yeah, so that we kind of gave up on that one after we couldn't get the motor running at that point. So they got the motor running about 6 months after that, like Baron was saying. And so we had the motor sitting there, the vehicle sitting there, and I was just trying to figure out any vehicle. So me and Baron were talking about, I'm like, dude, you got $250 you could blow on a car, and I got $250 I could blow on a car. And then I was talking to Lonnon, and Lonnon's like, why don't you just get the Mercedes going? And then ding,
Well,
ding,
because
ding.
he asked me if I would let him use the blue buck, and I was like, well, not really. I was planning on getting it going so I can drive it. Why don't you just try the
'cause
buck?
I thought you were done with it at this point, but yeah, that I asked and I was like, yeah, and then I was like, just get the Mercedes going. I was like, oh, duh, we could do that because the motor, and that's where this whole thing with Mercedes began. So basically, me and Baron had the motor in. Me, Baron, and Griff had the motor in about 4 hours. Had it running. But the issue was we wanted to fit some massive tires on there because we needed some ground clearance. So we ended up lowering the rear subframe with some, what do you call them, spacers.
Well, at first is we thought it was we were thinking we could just use the spring spacers,
Yes.
and then we realized that wouldn't have worked because then it would have made the angle of the rear tires super bad.
Very bad. But so we ended up dropping the subframe down and using two 2-inch spring spacers, which overall, I mean, the fact we fit 30-inch tires on that thing is really impressive.
I thought they were 32s.
No, not 32s. I finally looked it up. It's 30s. That size was. So, I mean, still a 30-inch tire on a 1987 Mercedes is pretty massive, we'll say. But yeah, and then the front, we did the same thing. We did a spring spacer and then we did a hood stack on this thing. And anyone that
was
follows
freaking sick.
it was awesome. Basically, we did this whole story on our Instagram, which, guys, if you aren't all following our Instagram, now is the time because we are doing a lot more content, just with stuff we're working on. It's at King Ugly Crew on Facebook and Instagram. And then if you want to get a hold of us via email, it's at kinguglycrew@gmail.com. Or if you want to see our lovely faces, you can check us out at kinguglycrew.wordpress.com. And then
So they were
that's what-
exactly
Shameless
30.1 inches is what they are because they were 255, 70, 16.
Yeah. So we're just over a 30-inch tire, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, that was a blast. We thought we were good because then Kaylani and Tesla decided they wanted to join in, and so we were like, okay, cool, we'll throw them in the back of the Mercedes. We're not rubbing, so we shouldn't have an issue. Well, we didn't account for all the weight of the supplies. So we'll get into that when we get there.
So
So there was definitely some rubbing going on in
Wow.
in the
No,
Mercedes.
no. The Mercedes actually was really, really good when I went and Baha'd it to Parowan Gap. And Griff said I was driving.
I forgot Baron ruined the car before we even started gambling.
I did.
Destroyed.
I had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, so what happened?
So,
Well, okay.
So they
because-
were-
So the day that before that, we decided to work on both the cars and get some sort of skid plates built for both. And Baron's got a next door neighbor that has a pipe bender and some tubing and a welder, and he said we could use it. And then Case and at Kimball they had just some metal laying around that we could use. So we used both of those to fashion up skid plates for both of the cars.
Hey guys, real
I
quick,
didn't even use cases.
skid plates add weight.
They
Yeah.
do. But we did Griff's was pretty good. We found a pretty thin pieces of metal that he had there, and then bent them to perfectly sit underneath the engine. And then we skinned it. Yeah, and then we skinned it with a Jetta hood.
Yeah, Griffith is not bad.
Nice.
It's not very heavy at all. But I mean, ours is definitely heavier metal, but we didn't use a whole lot. We used it. I mean,
That's
Baron,
It
what'd you
was,
say?
it was probably 25 pounds, maybe 25 pounds.
I mean, and
Okay,
we were
so
just
when
really
Baron
trying to
took
correct
it
the oil
out-
pan.
Yeah, and so when you took it out, had you guys already made the skid plates?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we'd done that whole day before he took it out.
And
Okay,
then
so
Baron
it was
sent it.
quote unquote protected, and Baron sent it.
Yeah.
I did. It was great.
The suspension didn't send it. That was the issue. Is that Baron was trying to fucking turn this thing into a side by side and forgot that there's 5,000 pounds hooked to it.
The thing rode great. I don't know what you guys are talking
It
about.
probably did.
It was like riding in a Mercedes up there.
It would have been just nicer if we could have finished the Gambler.
Okay, well, you forget that, yes, I went out and drove it, and I drove it hard, because, if I'm going to break it, I'm going to break it before we go all the way out there. And I didn't
you
even
did.
break it. I destroyed
did?
the bushings in the front end.
Yeah.
No,
destroyed.
that is just ruining a wear item. It was still very drivable. It just pulled really hard one way or the other.
Yeah, and wore the tires out.
Scrubbed the tires. Anyway, so we get that all done. But what did we end up having to do the rest of the week? Griff got his AC line replaced.
Radiator. He did a radiator that week.
Yep.
And needed a lower control arm the day we left.
Yeah, because he's
Because
pretty sure he
we
bent it.
Because
When-
I went
when
to
he went-
Parowan Gap with Baron, and I thought that I bent it, and I didn't. To be honest, it still rubbed after with them on there.
Yeah, but that could be subframe that you bent.
Possibly.
Because, it didn't rub before, and now it does.
Where was it rubbing? Like the tires rubbing?
Yeah.
So, okay,
touches.
Baron, what made you decide to go jump diesel Mercedes?
I did not jump it. I just drove it really hard. I don't think it ever left the ground.
Not
Really?
according to Griff.
Okay, there is one shot of me with one tire off the ground because I centered it's not the right term, but that's essentially what I did.
Baron sent it
There
farther
was
than it was
totally
designed.
a second we were in the air. At least 2 seconds.
Okay,
not
that was
fully,
not
but
a
the front of
Parowan
it.
Gap though. When I was coasting
okay.
down
I
those
thought you were
hills, whole
talking
nother
about
scenario.
the gambler still, because that's what this is supposed to be about.
Was that
Okay,
No,
Aurora?
Calm
we haven't
down.
even. No, that was Tesla. We haven't even made it to the Gambler yet.
I know that was Tesla. It was a joke, Lonnon.
Oh, gotcha. Ha.
We're just giving up. She won't talk.
She's talkless, which is really
So
quite
basically,
surprising.
Baron basically
She's
just
talking to
he
me
sent
just
it.
through text.
He sent it so he could test it, but he definitely wore out the front end, and it never sat right after that. Obviously,
So,
I-
tie rod ends, ball joints.
it was lower control arm bushings. There literally is nothing left.
They
It's
float
loose.
back and forth probably
Yeah.
an inch and a half either direction.
Right, and
Wow.
so that caused me. I had to go and trim the front fenders because the tires were sitting way different than they were, and so I ended up trimming the front fenders probably a good 2 inches off the front fenders, and then flaring them out so the tire could travel without rubbing. And so we thought our tire rubbing issue had been solved before we left. So loading up, we were getting loaded up that Friday. We all left work early on Friday to get loaded up. We finally hit the road around 2.
Yep.
I don't think we didn't have any issues getting loaded up. I think everything went smooth. Everyone had all their camping gear, loaded up the Mercedes and the PT Cruiser. Griff, I know, obviously he drove the PT Cruiser all the way to Ogden which was awesome. I mean, that car is I was very impressed with that PT Cruiser. I wish I would have got to drive it actually out
You
there.
didn't drive it. It was so much better driving it.
Dude, it was a kick. Anyway,
I know I borrowed it. I mean, for that couple days afterwards, and it was a blast. That car is so much fun to drive. But so we made our way up there. We had to stop
in Fillmore for fuel.
Yep. PT Cruiser was doing fine, right? We weren't having any issues yet, right?
Nothing yet. Nope, we were doing good. But we all decided.
Hold on.
Okay,
Mercedes. Did you guys trailer the Mercedes, or did you drive the Mercedes?
Oh,
I apologize.
definitely.
Yes,
that car would
it.
not have made it that far.
No.
Okay, I need one person to talk because I still don't know if you trailered it or you drove it. Baron.
Trailered it.
Okay, and what'd you use? Your King Ranch 6-liter?
Of course, it's like the most reliable truck we have, even amongst Dane's super reliable 2015 Duramax.
Which was the aftermarket boot that ripped, not anything.
That
GM
felt like
had
a
done.
burn.
I feel like my 6.0 has 250,000 miles on it, and it's a 6.0 Power Stroke, the most unreliable diesel ever made.
6.4
in any form.
6.4.
You put enough money into anything, and it will be reliable. Anyway,
I have less
back
than
to
half
the
as much
Mercedes.
money as you do in your Duramax.
Yeah, but my Duramax is way nicer. Anyway, and Baron, I really appreciate you pulling my trailer and my truck off the mountain. So, that being said, because that's what Baron was getting at, Fillmore, you guys are getting fuel, and everything's good up until Fillmore, which is, about 2.5 hours or less?
Yeah, and actually nothing wrong. We just needed to get fuel. Pretty good headwind.
Yeah,
but I'm standing there and I'm talking to Griffith, and I'm like, I really don't want to try and find a spot to sleep outside tonight. You know, if Aunt Becky's house is within 45 minutes of the place we have to be at in the morning, I say we crash there. And Griff's like, yeah, I agree. Baron, I think Baron and Case were both like, sounds good to me. So I called Aunt Becky. I was like, so I know Uncle Chris is out of town, but can we crash at your house tonight? She's like, sure.
Where was Uncle Chris? With Grandpa in Washington?
Yep. Grandpa in Washington on that flight thing. I can't think what it's called.
Yeah, the veterans
flight. Yeah, veterans flight. So
yep. Okay, so
we got a hold of her. She's like, absolutely. We got there. Probably. I mean, so then we're like, we're gonna stop at Winco and get some food so that we have food for this trip because it's out in the middle of the boonies. But then I realized that I forgot to take the SD card out of my fake GoPros, and so then we're stopping at what did we stop at? 3 or 4 Best Buys, Griff?
2.
Was it only 2? I thought it was 3. No,
It's just 2.
Anyway, so because we were looking for mounts of some sort so we could mount it to the dash, which I had some, but I needed some other things as well. And then we decided, and then we met the boys in the Layton Winco.
Wait, you were in Utah at this point.
We never left Utah.
You were in northern Utah, and it's pronounced Layton.
It's pronounced Layton everywhere in Utah.
And you were going to the mountains.
Yes, we were going to the mountains from Layton.
Utards.
But anyone could catch on to that. Utahns don't say their T's.
No, they don't.
So does that make it Utah?
Hey, you are.
Does that mean they
the
don't?
only T they pronounce is Utah.
Yeah, true. Because they don't even say hurricane, right?
But,
No,
so while Griff and Lonnon are off doing this adventure, me, Case, Aurora, Kehlani, and Tesla went over and got ice cream, and we're sitting hanging out outside, and there was some football game going on, and we were just having a good old time.
Wait, what about the concert in the back seat on the way there?
Off.
So
yeah, the concert was great.
Okay, so I
Kehlani-
kind of heard about this concert. Wasn't it Aurora choosing the music?
So
No,
Kehlani
so
No, it was
and
all of us.
Tesla
We made
were
a
kind of
list.
quiet until Fillmore.
We made a
and
list.
then Aurora would hop in with us at Fillmore, and then from that point on, Aurora wrote up this list of all the music she wanted Case to play.
No, it was all of us. I started the list. I was like, hey, why don't we make a playlist for them to play? And I only did that because Aurora got in the car.
And because they were bored with Case's and I's music.
Yeah,
Okay,
me
so
and Barry-
Case Bear, what was your music?
There was no
good.
word. Boring. It was like weird.
Okay, so
There was
we've
no
got
words.
instrument music. What was it, Bear? What was it, Case?
We were listening to Chill Step. Chill Step and a little dubsteppy stuff, and but that's just what Case and I like, and so
Just house
Okay,
music.
girls, I back you up 100%. So, girls,
They played good
what did
music
you guys
and we were all
decide to play?
asleep.
I had to stay awake, but we'll get to that.
We won't talk about that. It was a lot. It was a lot.
There was a lot of songs on there. I mean,
Aurora, you were on.
Yep.
Yes, she was.
ZB had a lot. ZB is Aurora, by the way. That's why I call her. I don't know why, but that's what it is.
Zoom
Dad
baby.
called her
baby.
Zoom
Zoom
baby.
baby.
Papa
that's
called
why.
her that.
That's right. King Ugly called her ZB, so that's why I call her. But she had some excellent songs. I'm guessing because of Griff picked out. Griffy,
She
your
did have a
daughter
couple
has
of good ones, but it was
She
the
had
boy
some
band
great
after
ones.
boy band after boy band. I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah, we'll just say
We had
definitely used our
girls because you
vetoes.
guys finally started complaining about there not being girl artists, so then we started adding some.
Hey,
Hallelujah.
we're an equal opportunity music artist.
Right. So it was just we were jamming out, singing along, and Aurora is the most confident girl I've ever met in my life. That she has no idea what she's gonna sing, doesn't know the lyrics at all, but she's gonna sing her heart out, no matter what it is. It's so funny to hear her sing along.
So
She is
you guys
fully
got a
invested.
concert on the way
Yes.
to Layton in UA.
Yes, they got a beautiful concert.
And then Fuff and Lonnon were going to Best Buy to try and find GoPro stuff. So
And
did you
me
guys
and-
end up finding them, Lennon?
More or less, is me and Lonnon sat in silence the whole time because it's usually what me and Lonnon do when we drive places.
No, we talk.
You guys don't talk?
No, we talk. Like
We don't
to be
listen to
honest,
anything.
We rarely listen to music or anything because me and Lonnon are usually talking about stuff.
Yeah, we just talk the whole way
Politics.
up. Everything.
Everything. I wouldn't even say politics are usually what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Work.
it ends up being work eventually at one point,
Yep.
but it wasn't most of that time.
No.
Cool. So should we jump to the next day, that morning, after spending the night at Uncle Chris and Aunt Becky's?
Totally.
Oh
It was
no, Zzyzx got hit by the door by Aunt Becky.
What? I didn't
I
hear about
did.
that.
I fell asleep by the door on the floor, and she opened the door and it hit me in the face.
Didn't she almost step on you too?
Mental note,
Almost
don't
what?
sleep by doors.
Did you deserve
Didn't she almost step on you, Zzyzx?
Yes, she did.
So of course, like we get there and real quick, she's like she feeds us. Like she's got watermelon, fresh raspberries, and like all this stuff out there. And we're like, yeah, we're
From
just
their
gonna leave
garden?
early. Yeah. And we're like, we're just gonna leave early. You know, don't worry about making us anything. She like, and she goes, oh well, I already had my sourdough starter for sourdough waffles in the morning. And then Case and Bear
And
are
then
like,
I get in,
all right, we're
and
done.
I'm all like,
We're staying.
we're staying.
In
I
the
love
morning,
sourdough.
I'm
Aunt
gonna
Becky
waff-
Aunt Becky is known for her sourdough waffles.
So yeah, so
Steak?
she made us waffles and bacon, and I told them, I was like, you know what? I was like, you guys just wake me up at like 15:02 before we gotta leave, and I'll eat and we can leave. Because Bear and Case were both like, yeah, I'm up at like 6, and I'm like, not me. I'm not an early person.
Nope, Lon is not a
with
morning
Lonnon.
person. Yeah. So I was up.
I
right
only
at
wake up for
6,
food.
I think. Yeah, I woke up at 6 to help Aunt Becky get everything going. Which surprising Baron wasn't up because they stayed up talking until way too late. But
And like one.
yeah, way too late. And then so we eat an amazing meal, and then we hit the road. So we're still towing the Mercedes at this point because it's a 35-minute drive up to Ogden to where we're actually meeting at.
I
So
drove
we
my
go,
car.
yeah.
'cause
So
it was
Griffey
better.
drove, no problem. And then so we were towing there, and then we had to go to. There was a special place to park a truck and trailer, and then to unload. And this is great. So we get to the place where we're supposed to drop it. It's behind a whole bunch of fences in some yard somewhere. They were like, okay, well, I hope it's unlocked by the time we get back. Yeah, foreshadowing there. So we dropped the Mercedes, get everything going. Of course, the battery's dead because we've been having issues with it. So luckily, there's someone that followed us in, jump started us, got it going, and then we started rolling. We're like, sweet, we're going, and nothing but scraping, and it was bad. Like the back end was sitting so low because we had literally all of our camping gear plus the two girls in the back, and it was just ridiculous.
So that was at you guys pulled it off the trailer and we're having all those issues?
We
So
pulled
what'd
off
you
the
do?
trailer and we started to move, and it was like bottomed out. It was bad.
Like instantly.
So did you
into
guys
the
move
fenders.
to the PT Cruiser?
No, because Baron and Lonnon and Griff were already at the location, and we were 10 minutes away where we had to park the truck and trailer.
Okay.
So,
I had
What'd you
so
guys do?
much
Just drove the 10
anxiety
miles?
because of the wheels.
no, me and Baron got creative with the wooden side of a hammer, used the actual handle of it, and the girls all stand in one corner as I drove, and it really rounded the fenders out.
The door was open and we were jumping up and down. It was fun.
And it's
So,
raining
okay, some pictures.
and cold and windy.
Yeah, we got
Yes,
plenty
it
of
was.
pictures and videos. I'll definitely when we post this up, I'll do another post with it. But yeah, we had to do some massive modifications by the time we got to the actual meetup location because we didn't have this hasn't been tested. No one tested the Mercedes with it loaded.
Yep. Okay, so you guys drove the 10 miles, made some quick modifications, and got to the Gambler. And what did you see? Fuff.
Cars. Radically modified.
You're so descriptive.
Actually, what was cool is we saw what was the oh gosh, it's that purpose-built off-road machine that looks like a Tiburon.
Oh, so they had a no crap, I don't remember the name.
Dane,
of it
it's on Forza
X-Fighter.
4.
What's the
Fighter.
really expensive
Rally
off-road
Fighter.
vehicle?
Rally
The
Fighter.
Oshkosh?
The Rally
No,
Fighter.
Rally.
The
Rally
Rally
Fighter.
Fighter.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. They had a
Somebody had
Rally
one.
Fighter?
Yeah, somebody
They
had
Rally
one
Fighter
there.
Not for $500.
No.
No.
But
So what's cool about the Gambler though is that you literally can show up with any vehicle at all. Like they don't care. I mean, the whole goal
I'm
is
taking
to
the
go with
Yamaha
cheapest.
next year.
That's totally fine.
it has
They
to be
just-
street legal.
It has to be street legal. But they say also
It is street
that,
legal in Utah.
Okay, well, it was a 50 mile. Oh no, it was like 50 miles on road to get to where we were going.
Dang.
yeah, it was quite a bit on road.
If the
but it
road was lava, we would all be dead.
yeah, we would have died.
Yes.
But
So you guys
getting
drove to
there was-
Logan, right?
Yeah,
Yes, but
Via
we
dirt.
drove the backwards way.
We drove the long way to Logan.
Yeah.
And
so you
actually,
didn't go up like through
actually,
the canyon.
it was way better to go up the Logan that way because I hate going to Logan in general.
agreed.
Through the canyon's fun.
But so yeah, we started the Gambler.
After we
Um,
saw, there was some
yeah.
awesome cars. We have to talk about some of the cars. There was a limo.
two.
There was
They
two
were
limos.
limos.
Six limos. They parted into the truck. The one they made into a El Camino. There was the white bread, which was a Crown Vic that, no joke, had probably 35s and would clear 40s. Like, the thing was higher than most trucks are. And then the Catamaran, that was a dually 1950s caddy with dually rear tires and stuff like that
Like on a full, it was a full truck frame. I can't remember what truck frame though.
underneath it.
there was also the Mustang.
Yep, there's
Yes,
the Mustang, the
That
lifted
was-
Mustang.
on an S10 chassis.
Yep.
And then the HHR was really cool. I love that thing.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then
So, Tesla, what was the craziest vehicle you saw?
I have no idea. I feel like the one that was cut in half. I don't know what that one was, but it was funny.
I like it too.
Oh.
It's funny.
the Subaru,
Justy?
the Loyale.
Oh, that's what it was.
Probably.
Loyal. It every time we've seen it, it's been less and less of a vehicle.
He keeps cutting it up more and more.
That's because it's rusted so bad that he has pieces fall off. So the most recent time, he literally had pieces that were welded to his roof down to the axle so that it would hold it in place.
He didn't have real
Wow.
lights. It was funny. He just zip tied like the ones from like Lowe's onto it. It was funny.
So, Zai, what was the craziest one you saw?
Probably that one, or there was one with a dolphin up at the top of it. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, yes, the Dolphin that it was. So it was a. Was it a Toyota? What was it? It was a.
I don't think I saw that one.
You didn't. So somebody like took
Like
apart
Toyota
a
truck, Toyota
well,
Corolla.
Yeah, like I don't know if it was a Toyota truck, but it was. It must have been a Toyota truck that somebody had, like, you know, those old Toyota campers, you know, that people still pay stupid money for.
Yeah, that's like the same front of the truck that Mike's dad had, that blue Toyota.
Yep, exactly like that. So like the
Yeah,
old
okay, I know what you're talking about.
90s Toyota truck or 80s, whatever they were. Anyway,
80s.
and
Two-wheel
but-
drive,
yeah,
super low to the ground. Looks like a car.
but this guy made his.
Okay, what do you mean made his?
So he took parts from like the cab over the cab over campers that you can put in the back of a pickup bed. So he made his out of that and whatever vehicle. I think it was a Toyota truck, but whatever it was, that's what it was. It was made with that. It wasn't like one that was pre-made. He made it himself. And you could tell where
Oh, really?
you could tell where he had like cut and like made his own front out of it. It was hilarious. And then he had a dolphin on the front, and when you hit the horn, it made the flipper noise.
They drove those
That's
from
too cool.
And
Twin
they drove
Falls.
they drove those from Twin Falls. That and the El Camino,
El-
the
Limo.
El Camino. I don't know how you'd say that.
Limco, yeah. and also the Lexus that was definitely not $500.
No,
No,
that thing
no.
was quite a bit more than that.
There was
$2.
The limo Camino. Come on, guys.
the limo Camino. Yeah, there was a guy that had an HHR that he'd lifted and put like 28s on it. I think is what he had on it. So
Because I bet that looked cool.
it was
Actually, it
actually
was
that
pretty
one was
cool.
cool. And we talked to him a little bit because we talked to him last time we were there, and he had a Land Rover that he daily drives, and during the Sinners and Saints, he ran into a side by side and like destroyed it. And he's like, "I need an actual gambler car, not my daily driver." But the funny thing, the crazy thing about his Land Rover, like he had this sweet rack on top and like all this really cool stuff and everything. He just was like constantly searching on the sites that show what they have, like pick parts and other thing like that. And if he saw something he could use on his Land Rover, he'd leave work and go get it. And so like he had all these really cool parts on his Land Rover, but he's like, I just need something else.
So what's the deal with this Lexus?
It was an LS. No, whatever basically the Land Cruiser version of a Lexus is. GX. Well, let's just go with this. The Olin shocks on it were probably more than $500.
I thought it was an RX 470.
Okay, yeah, sure, it was It was an RX 470.
So it was an
Very-
older one.
No, like, well,
2000s. 12,
Yeah.
13.
But they off-roaded it.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, totally set it up. Like it was cool looking.
Yeah.
And then, so I mean, like there was those, the freaking Trans Am, Formula Trans Am that was lifted.
That was cool. It had 30s on it.
So sweet, dude. It was
Yep.
awesome.
Straight piped.
Honestly, the Ford Probe that looked like a Group B car was awesome.
That was pretty
Yep.
cool.
Yep. I took some pictures, but I took way more video than I took pictures. I'm trying to
The
think what
issue
else there
was
was.
is that me and Baron were way too busy taking any pictures while we were there. I mean, we showed up in the parking lot and we were literally working for the full hour we were there.
Well, yeah, and the problem with that is they were trying to get us on the road as well. And of course, I picked the team to be the first team out, which was a good choice. In hindsight, or I guess foreshadowing, it was a really good choice for us.
Great choice.
But it was fun. It was really fun. But we had to. So the very first time we went, we weren't helping out the DNR, the Department of National Resources. This time they had 3 routes. One route was just go out and do it, and no, you're not helping with anything. And then 2 routes were helping out the DNR get those like orange poles that are on top of the metal poles, so that when people are snowmobiling, they know where they're at and they're on the right trail. And so we were helping do that. And I mean, it was pretty cool, but I was like, well, we got drills. We can do first place. But you had to have a group of 5, right? Was that what it was?
Yep, it was 5 people we had to have. So 5 different vehicles.
5 vehicles? Okay.
Yes.
So like it's just the 2 of us. So I start walking around and there's these kids that it's the first time they've ever been there and they just showed up. And I mean, like one of them's in a Subaru. What was that, Griff? A Subaru Legacy?
A Legacy.
Yeah.
Just
So
a Legacy, not even an Outback.
and this is a Legacy that his next door neighbors, they're like, oh yeah, we're just going to take it to the dump. And he's like, well then can I take it and, go on the Gambler with it? And they're like, whatever, we don't care. So he got that from his, and completely stock, like didn't do anything to it. And then his buddy had a Hyundai Sonata that his parents, the same thing. It had been hit, but not real hard. And they were just going to take it to the dump. And he's like, well, I want to take it to the Gambler. They're like, all right, whatever. So both of these cars completely stock as can be. And they're bringing them
They
on the
did a
Gambler.
good job.
They did a great job.
Better than the Mercedes.
Yep. And then so we got to find another guy, and this guy that pulled up with us, I can't remember his name now,
Brand.
but he had
Yeah.
he followed us on King Ugly.
Yeah.
It was
He's
funny,
got a-
actually. His wife texted me and he's like, "Hey, so are you guys on Instagram or something?" And I was like, "At King Ugly Crew," and she's like, "I should have known. I shouldn't have even asked."
So yeah, they were way cool. They're actually the same people that jumped the Mercedes while we were getting it off the trailer. Like they're
Right.
the ones that followed us in. And
Yeah.
It was awesome. They came down from Idaho as well, I believe.
I
Okay.
don't know where that came from.
So why were they surprised you guys are on Instagram at King Ugly Crew?
We may have stickered our cars.
Some of the biggest stickers ever.
Yeah, there was a sticker, this 24 5-inch sticker on the back of the Mercedes, and like a 13-inch on the back of the PT Bruiser. So they, I mean, like she's like, oh yeah, I totally should have known. But anyway, so So we pick our group. We ask them. They're like, well, we've got to leave early, so we've got to be at the back of the pack. And they're like, well, all right. Well, I mean, we're the first group, but it sounds like we're going to be the last group going up. But we didn't find this out until later. But they're like, you know what? We'll just go with you. And if we got to turn around, we'll turn around when we got to turn around. So we're like, sweet. So we all get, so like right then they give us the coordinates. And so I'm trying to help Case and Baron as well as, trying to get the coordinates in my phone. And I had downloaded this huge area map in Google Maps to make sure that I had a big enough map to cover everywhere we're going.
Huge tracts of land he downloaded.
Huge tracts of land. Yeah. And, so I'm putting in all these coordinates, and Baron's like, how do I do it? And I showed him on one, and I was like, okay, go figure it out, because I still have to get this done before we have no internet. So anybody else want to talk now? I mean, like, that's about where I was.
Yeah, so we just basically, all we do on the Mercedes while we're in the parking lot is pound out the fenders
Beat
the best
it.
we can. Yeah, we literally
Beat it.
just massage it. We massage the metal.
You were massaging the metal.
Yeah.
I was giving Baron a pretty bad time. Case was just like whacking this thing, and Baron's coming up, and he was hitting it pretty hard. Don't get me wrong, but I was just like, oh yeah, Baron definitely doesn't have the power that Case Isaiah does.
I think the
Although
word
he
was
is the
gusto,
runt.
not
Oh,
the
was it Gusto? I think it might have been Gusto. And then I was like, but he is the runt of the family. And he turns around. He's all mad. It was great.
It was so good. But yeah, so we finally get it going, where we all jump in the car just to test real quick and no rubbing issues. So it was awesome. So we hit the road finally. After pretty much, I would say 90% of the people had already left, we decided to finally hit the road.
So what time was this?
By the time we left the parking lot,
9:30?
No, I think we finally left the parking lot right around 8:45. But because we got there, me and Griff got there at like 7:55 or something like that. And by the time we left, it may have been an hour, so it may have been 8:55. But then, so I don't know how I did it, but I put the coordinates into my phone, and I must have copied an extra one. And so we're going up this hill, and then all of a sudden it has us turn off and go up into this like really rich neighborhood.
Really rich neighborhood. Like these houses are $1 million houses. Easily.
And I'm like, I don't know why it's telling us to go here, but it was a good thing it did because I'll let Case tell what happened.
So all of a sudden we're driving and we're like, okay, we're going to turn here. And then literally as we're turning into this neighborhood, I lose power steering. I don't have any power steering at all. And I'm like, oh, crap. So we probably lost the belt or something. So we're pulling up in there. I'm like, we got to check something there. We don't have power steering and we have like no power at all. So obviously alternator's not charging, no power steering. We're like, okay, the belt just is either gone or the tensioner's gone bad. So we pop the hood.
This is like 25 miles down the road from where we left.
Like literally just started the gambler. And so we pop the hood. They're like, oh crap, the freaking spring that holds the serpentine belt tight is gone. Like we have no idea where it went.
Trampoline spring.
Yeah, that's basically what it looks like. And that's what holds the whole serpentine system tight. And without that, we literally would have been screwed. But somehow we look up and it's literally stuck in the hood of the Mercedes. Like
in the material of the material stuff.
Yeah, in the actual fabric, but still, it's sitting on the hood. Like we couldn't have got any more lucky than we did with that. And so we finagle with it for about 20 minutes just to try to get it to work, rebend it, somehow get it to work okay. But with these people driving by us, like looking at us all weird because we're in this really rich neighborhood and they're driving by in their Mercedes and their brand new F-150s that are loaded and they're all looking at us like
no. That was a Lincoln version of it.
Oh, it was a Lincoln. You're right. It was the Mark 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, golly, we are looking weird. And we're like, man, we don't fit in here, do we at all? And I'm like, oh wait, well, I do. I drive a Mercedes.
And then I was like, and the other dude's in an Acura. We're good.
Yeah, we're good. We fit in. But yeah, so we finally.
And
get
I
that
had
thing.
a PT.
Yeah, Griffith, you definitely fit in.
Yep.
Hey, it's turboed. Enough said.
Enough said. So yeah, we were sitting there for a good 20 minutes trying to get this figured out, and luckily, Baron and Lonnon were able to bend it the right way and get it put back together, and we get it tight, get out there, hit the road, and Lonnon gets his coordinates figured out all in this time. So it works out great because we needed to figure out the coordinates and fix the car. So yeah, and
This
we're
may
on to
be
our
a-
next adventure.
This may be a two-parter, just saying. So the next adventure is we drive another 20 minutes or so, and all of a sudden we're stopped, and there's just a line of cars. And I
And
get
this
out
is
of
all
the car.
paved, right? This
This
is
is
all
all paved. Yep. And we're like, what in the heck is going on? We're waiting for it, and this is the only way we can go. There's no other way to go around. And so I get out of the car, and I'm just walking around. Well, we'd passed a cop. And so
motorcycle cop that was just sitting there, just watching the traffic. And so Lonnon gets out, walks around, and all of a sudden Lonnon is or recording, and he looks back, and literally the cop is talking to me and Baron. And the Mercedes at this point has got a bad injector, so it's literally puffing out white smoke. So bad, like you can't see anything.
It was not that bad. It was a little bit of gray haze.
It was not gray. It was white, Baron. Like
gray
why?
Haze. No, white would be coolant. It was gray haze.
It was a little bit gray, yes, but it wasn't white.
And
it
the
was
cop said,
definitely
"Hey,
gray.
don't you need a DPF on that thing?"
No, it was actually cop was really cool. I love small town cops because of this situation. So Baron, because I'm driving, so he comes up to the passenger side because we're all sitting on the road. And Baron automatically says, "Officer, I would shut this off, but we literally been having battery issues, so I can't turn it off." He's like, "No problem." He's like, "Well, what's going on?" And so he just tells us there was an accident, and also they shut us down because they're doing a marathon on the road that we have to go up.
Yeah.
So a running marathon for people that are running.
Which the event planner didn't know. Actually, I talked to him about that as well. But what was funny is that like the cop told us there was an accident. Well, come to find out there was no accident. It was just the marathon that had shut down. So we're there probably 25, 30, 35 minutes. Like,
oh yeah.
We're thinking we're going to be way behind the pack because we broke down in the first 20 miles. Well, that we got much closer to everybody else.
That literally saved our butts because literally all the entire gambler group was in that block. Period.
Yep. Yeah. None of us got past that. So finally they let us go. And what was funny is like there's some spots that like these people that are like lagging behind, they don't have like
so
there's a bunch.
Scary.
We were driving on the side of the road, the left side of the road for probably 6 miles or something like that. It was a long time. And then all of a sudden we're driving 2-lane, but there's still people running right next to us. And like, these are the ones that are almost dying as it is. And it's just like, oh, well, the bulk of the people are gone. You guys can fend for yourselves.
Just literally. And we're big vehicles. Like all of us are either lifted or have big tires, but we're trying to stay out of the way, out of the other people.
Well, and like $500 cars, so they don't really drive straight very well. And
no.
They're loud.
Oh yeah, loud.
My car was quiet.
So quiet, Griffey. So quiet. But yeah, it was an adventure.
Super smog efficient.
Very.
Yeah, it passed ish smog.
But yeah, it was fun trying to drive all these past these people. We were just waving, cheering the guys on, cheering the people on that were running. All the gambler group were really positive to all the runners and everything, which I thought was great. But we finally make it up the top of the mountain. I mean, we drive up a canyon up to the top of the mountain to our first checkpoint, which is where we needed to be to do our service project.
Right. We were the first ones. Well, Baron, you go ahead and tell them what we had to do since I've been talking this whole time.
So at the service project, we arrived. They've basically been waiting for us for like a half an hour.
No. They had just pulled up too.
They really did?
Yeah, they pulled up right in front of us.
Okay, because I thought they'd been waiting because as soon as we got there, I was like, okay, let's get to work. Like they'd been waiting.
No, that's because they just showed up.
So we go up, we all circle up around the DNR guy, and he tells us, okay, guys, so basically what you need to do is you got to take these orange poles, you need to drill holes through them, and then you're putting baling wire through the pole.
And then you got to put the reflector tape on it.
Yeah, on the very top. And so we have, what would you say, 10 people?
It's probably 20. There's probably 20 of us.
There's probably 10 people actually working and another 10 people trying to figure out how they could actually help, but there wasn't enough space.
Yeah, we kind of, as far as us Jensens kind of took over and just were like assigning people duties. But we got it done, and it was funny because the DNR guy's like, I have never seen it done this fast ever. Usually it's me and 2 other guys, and we're just doing this part for half of a day.
Yeah, so we literally
sounds enjoyable.
Yeah, well, it was. How many polls do you think there was? 200? 100?
At least 200. At least 200.
Yeah, at least 200 polls, and we literally had it done in 10 minutes.
Dang. How many people? Was that just with the 5 different cars? Or were
Yeah.
you guys up with different people by then?
There
Well,
was
the
a couple
DNR guy
more
was
people.
there. There was a couple more people there, but we everyone just took hold and jumped in. And that's what I've always liked with the Gambler group is they are all willing to help. Always.
Yeah, if you break down, anybody's willing to help you out. I mean, yeah.
It was
It's great.
awesome. So we just jumped in, and then the people that weren't helping, like the kids, weren't really helping around. They grabbed trash bags and went and cleaned up all the trash around the place we were at. Like that's the whole point of the Gamblers: go up and clean the state while you're out and about having fun.
Leave it better than you found it.
Right.
Exactly.
On the side of the building, there was a bunch of blue foam. It was so weird. It was just like scattered everywhere.
But they
We also found the camp chair bag. So there was some weird trash around.
I agree.
There was. It was so funny.
So they planned for us. Like this is the first time that he'd planned stuff with the DNR, which I actually liked. I thought it was pretty cool. That he had the different groups or the different paths, and those people that could help wanted to. Those people that didn't want to, they didn't have to. But I mean, there were still more than enough people willing to help out with every one of them. So it was great. I thought it was really a good adventure.
How many participants do you guys think there were?
50?
Oh yeah, right in 50 range.
50 vehicles or 50 people?
50 vehicles.
No. Vehicles? No.
You don't think so? I think there's probably close to 50 vehicles.
I don't think there was that many. I would say 35 to 40-ish. I mean, it was more than I was expecting.
40-ish.
Now, I'd
So the
say
first time you guys went, were there more that time?
Yeah.
Hard to say, actually, because that one, we never... The parking lot that we met in for that very first one that we went to was really small. And so I don't know how many cars weren't. Yeah, it was packed, and I don't know how many cars were outside of it. But so, yeah, there was probably more because of COVID probably or something. Who knows?
Cool. So you guys finished up with the DNR, got the post put back up on there. And you said those were for when it snows, they still know where the poles are, right?
Yep. And so it's for snowplows and for snowmobiles. Make sure they're on the right track.
Yep, makes sense. So you got up there, and Baron, we haven't heard from you in a little bit. What happened after that?
So we get up to the top of the mountain, and we kind of drove up the paved road for a little minute.
It was probably another 6-7 miles.
Yeah, so it wasn't like that much longer, and then we finally turn off onto the first dirt road of the evening, of the day. And so we're cruising along this dirt road, and
Griff and Lonnon are gone. Sorry, I'm just gonna put it there. Griff and Lonnon are just gone. Like they're leading the group.
Griffith was driving.
They were just just flying to this place. They were having so much fun.
Dude, that PT did fantastic off-road.
Yep. Got with it well.
Yeah.
Bring it to Glamis. Find some paddles. Some front paddles.
It won't work.
Too heavy.
It'd be cool though.
So
but
you guys were flying through.
Yeah, and then me and Baron were just trying to keep up because we pretty much eliminated the rubbing on road, except when we were turning hard. But off road, we were rubbing all the time. Any bump, we would rub the back tires.
Well, the funny part is, it's not like we would just rub. It's that the wheel well is the same arch as the tire. So every time we would hit, it was like a drum brake, and it would lock the tire up. Like you could see right where it rubbed the entire wheel well. It was just a giant drum brake at that point.
Yep. So any big bump we hit, it literally would stop us. It would take out so much momentum. So we're just trying to keep up with Griff and Lonnon, and of course we have the Acura right behind us, and then the Hyundai and the Subaru behind them. And the Acura is doing awesome.
I had to wait.
Yeah, Griff had to wait multiple times for us all. All slow. And then all of a sudden we lose the Acura when we're going up a hill. We're like, okay, what happened? So we backed down, and the Acura had blown a tire, hit a rock, just perfect, and they didn't have a spare.
Well, not only did they not have a spare, but they had 2-inch spacers on it with factory tires.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Now, he did plan on going bigger. He just hadn't had a chance to do it yet.
He was just going to wear out the rest of he was trying to get things done. He's just like, I'm going on the Gambler. I don't care if it's done or not, which was like the great mentality to have. And so, so he popped a tire. We had to put the donut on, which was pretty low as well. And so this is the people that had to leave early anyways. So they ended up just heading back, loading up, and leaving for the day from what we understand.
Totally going to meet up with them next time if they're there.
Oh, yeah. They were really cool people. And then, so we're going to start cruising along. I know PT Cruiser's gone. Griff and Lonnon are gone. We sent the Subaru and the Hyundai on go catch up to them. Well, we're sitting. Me and Baron helped out the Acura to get their spare tire on and get them on their way. And so we start going. Mercedes is running perfectly fine. This whole time, by the way, the transmission has been shifting perfectly. Like me and Baron had no implication of what was about to happen.
It was so good, like it was hitting gears just like it was supposed to, and we stopped because Griff lost a fan or something on the PT.
I popped a fuse because I put the wire on the wrong side and it rubbed.
Dang, Griffey, messing things
So if
up.
it wouldn't have been for Griff stopping, we would have been stranded further down the road.
Actually, and we had a bad radiator cap, but we didn't find that out until later.
Yeah. So basically, we stop. We park the Mercedes, shut it off, get Griffey's car fixed, get it going, and of course the Hyundai and the Subaru are there. And we keep telling them, look, guys, if you just want to go ahead, we totally understand. Because at this point, we're done with our service project. Like, we don't need to be in a group anymore. They can just go do whatever they want. Because that was a big thing that we were also so thankful for, is that Lonnon picked the one project that literally you do it and you're done. You don't have to spend all day doing the rest of it, like putting the poles up.
Yeah, so like what it was is the first group was do what we did. The second group was supposed to go through, straighten poles. Third group put the extra poles on top of the poles. And so yeah.
So stop, go all day long, which we would have never made it now. Now that we know what we did.
Right.
So we get going. Griff and Lonnon, of course, take off, like just booking it again.
I'm driving at this point.
Yep, the Hyundai and the Subaru are going, and we go to start the Mercedes, and we're like, cool, we're getting ready to go. And I put it in gear, and it's like really hesitant to go, but it still moves. But like a torque converter is slipping. So we're like, okay, we're low on fluid because we knew we had a transmission leak on that thing. So we're like, okay, we'll just add some tranny fluid. So we get to as level spot as we can, or try to top it off, and
it won't even move. It's
nothing.
Just dead.
Nothing. Not even not even a little spur of a.
If the tire's off the ground and the other one's on the ground and you floor it, it'll move at about a mile an hour.
If that. So it's done. Transmission on the Mercedes is shot. And we have literally just started the dirt. We're dead center of this dirt section, I think.
Not even dead center. We were not quite dead center. We were probably the first third.
Oh, that's right, because it was a lot longer out.
We went back a different way than what we were supposed to. But like, so I'm bombing, and I get up to the next checkpoint. Okay, I'm like, like we do when we're off-roading. We wait at the next spot so that everybody can line up and then follow. And so I'm waiting, and the Sonata shows up, and then the Legacy shows up, and then I'm like, all right, we'll wait a little longer. We wait probably another 10 minutes, and I'm like, okay, let's go back and see what the heck's going on. So we're going back, and obviously I'm still having a little bit of fun, but I don't know if they're coming my direction. So I'm like, getting on it when I can see what's far enough ahead of me and staying out of it on the corners and that kind of stuff. And finally we come up and we roll up onto like two people and come in our direction. It wasn't them. And they're like, oh yeah, that Mercedes is back there with a bad tire. And I was like, okay, so they blew a tire. So we get back there and come to find out, no, not a bad tire, bad transmission. Bad tire, we could have probably figured something out.
Yeah, we had a full-size spare, so we could have made it work. But yeah, transmission was done. And so the hero of the day, the PT Bruiser, got to tow us as much as it wanted to. And if we want to pause it here and return back on episode 2, Lonnon, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking because we're at 104 right now, and I don't know if I'll get this. No, I should be able to get it edited tonight. So yeah, definitely. I think we should probably pause here. Broke down Mercedes, cliffhanger. And
broke down Mercedes. We're just trying to get back at this point. We're just trying to get back to the truck.
And the fun just starts to begin.
This is literally where it all begins. So, guys, check in for, it won't be next week. It will be the following week because next week is book club. So, if you guys are interested, made it this far in the podcast, we gotta read a book. I still gotta do it too. It is Educated. The name of the book by who? Lonnon, do you know?
Tara. I'm looking it up right now.
That's a good name.
I'm pretty sure that's not her name.
By an elementary school teacher.
Tara Westover.
And so we're gonna have Sari on. Skylar's gonna be on. Obviously, anyone that's read the book is gonna be on.
Griff, did you read it? Did you listen to it on the way down?
No. I listen to conference.
Oh, good for you.
Good for you, Puffy. Good for you. Yeah, I still got to listen to it this week too. So that's what I'll be doing.
Let's see, what do I got left? Like 3.5 hours, something like that. So far,
How long
yeah,
is
I got 12 hours total. I think I've got 4 hours left. You can listen to it at 1.5 times and no issue at all.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, guys,
it's good. Makes me a little angry in spots.
Well,
But we'll talk about that.
That's gonna make it. That's gonna be a good discussion. So definitely check in for that one, and then we'll do the Gambler for the following week to finish up the Gambler. So
At King Ugly Crew.
Yep.
KingUglyCrew.wordpress.com. KingUglyCrew@gmail.com. Hit us up. You guys really should. Those of you listening, you guys need to. I think the next one is the Sinners and Saints, which is in
Gambler.
Yeah,
He's
the next
talking about.
Gambler. Yeah, I'm talking about the next Gambler. And that's down here in southern Utah. So as many of our listeners as we can get to go on that would be sick.
Yeah, that means so it's a combination between Vegas and southern Utah. So you guys in Vegas,
When is it?
You can come up. Don't have a date yet.
And it's not Vegas. Usually they go up to like Caliente and stuff like that. So it's
But
still
you can
out.
drive up.
You could drive up
from
here.
Vegas.
It usually starts here in Cedar area and then it heads out from here.
So,
Cool.
My bad.
All right, guys. So we got Book Club next week. We got Gambler the following week. And we might have some more info on the Sinners and Saints Gambler. And what do you say, guys? 1, 2, 3. Stay
Stay
ugly.
Yeah, some ugly people.